all of the preconceived notions I had made about myself, they didn't apply here. Nobody knew me. Nobody knew me as Lena, the real estate agent. Nobody knew me as Lena, the mom. Nobody knew me as all of these constructs I had put on myself. And so it was the first time that I was allowed to be free. I don't know that I'm doing any of this right, and it should be filmed. Today we're going to talk about how starting a YouTube channel as a 35-year-old stay-at-home mom of 3 completely changed my life. And we're not talking about starting a YouTube channel for the sake of the technical aspects of starting a YouTube channel, but by talking about how I was able to turn my passion for DIY, my knowledge of real estate, and currently living through a massive home renovation into a YouTube channel is hopefully going to help you unlock and see for yourselves how you could turn your passion, gifts, expertise into your own online platform so that you can start living out your purpose and your dreams. If you're new here, I'm Lena. I'm the creator behind the YouTube channel Flipping Gorgeous and the podcast Do the Flipping Thing. Now, I haven't always had YouTube figured out or an online platform figured out. Actually, for many years, I had no idea what I was doing with my life. Being a YouTuber just wasn't something in my mind. I never grew up with that example. I remember watching like the MTV Movie Awards and seeing YouTubers being on the red carpet and thinking to myself, like, what? A YouTuber is a celebrity? So being more of like the millennial generation, we didn't have those examples. We didn't really have blogging, podcasting, YouTubing as a career choice when we were younger. So just like many of you, I did what I was told to do. I went to college, I got a predictable job, I worked for a corporation. I left that when I became a mom. I wanted to get started in real estate because my mom actually did all the things I do now as I was a kid. They built houses, they renovated, and I didn't think I was creative, so I thought, well, I can sell houses and maybe that will get me into renovating them down the road. Actually totally hated doing that, but never saw how I could take that and turn it into an online platform until COVID hit. And many of us have these gifts and passions and talents lying inside of us. And if you feel called to inspire and impact, I want to help you do that. Like, we got to think outside the box. And so starting a YouTube channel as a 35-year-old stay-at-home mom seemed a little crazy, but it doesn't matter where you're at in life. You may have already raised your kids and now you're an empty nester. You may be leaving a corporate job and you are now home with babies. You might be having that last kid go off to kindergarten and you're thinking, like, what's next for me? And the biggest problem is a lot of us have this idea or this calling or this way we want to impact and inspire, but we just don't know how to do it. And again, it goes back to thinking inside the box a bit, thinking this is the only way for me to do something. And your gift can be shared in so many different ways. And the best way for you to impact and inspire is to take advantage of these online platforms that we have, because you can now reach people all over the world. And there is a woman out there who needs you, who needs what you have to offer. How do you identify like what platform is right for you? But before you can even do that, you have to really, what I call, identify your personal pledge. Because if you haven't made your personal pledge, which is outlining your passions, the lifestyle you want, the expenses that you're willing to spend, the dedication you're willing to put into something, you have to do that before you're gonna pick the right platform for you. And it took me years to figure out these things. Identify like, hey, a YouTube channel is right for me. It's what fits all of these different 6 areas. Now, I don't have time to get into that, but what I've done is I've put together a little worksheet that you can download that will help you outline your own pledge in these 6 areas. I've linked it below in this video. If you're listening to the audio version, I've linked it in the description of the podcast. So you can download that and you can work on that in your own time and just give yourself really a non-judgmental way to work through those things so that you can identify which platform might be right. Now, I had mentioned to you that I've tried a whole bunch of different things, and I didn't land on a YouTube channel until 2 years ago. I had been selling real estate. I had been running an online business with my sister. So that had opened my world to an online business, right? Like we had a Shopify store, we had an Amazon store. So I'd been introduced to that as an option, but we didn't make any content. I think she made a couple of makeup videos. I was making videos for real estate all the time, but at the time I was really like making Facebook videos, educating people on real estate information, taking them on home tours. Like I loved doing that. That was a part of real estate that I loved. And when the pandemic hit and we basically, our online business that my sister and I are running of beauty products that were sold to boutiques got shut down. So I just thought, you know what? I like making videos. I'm at home. We're all at home. We have a lot of extra time. What's something I could be doing to have fun? And I just started filming DIY projects around the house. Again, we had bought a house with the intentions of fixing it up a little bit and selling it in a few years when we planned on moving. And now I finally had the opportunity to tackle those projects. And I thought, let me just start filming them. But when I started filming them, it wasn't so much for the intention of, let me show off my DIY projects, because they were really bad, to be honest with you. Going back and looking at them were not good. But my whole goal was to inspire and help. And I remember the first video I made, I think it was a Facebook video. And I was talking about painting a wall and how painting a wall was giving me a sense of control in a time that felt so out of control. And people responded really well to that. Then I started doing other DIY projects and putting them on there. And it was kind of anonymous. Nobody knew me on there. So all of the preconceived notions I had made about myself, they didn't apply here. Nobody knew me. Nobody knew me as Lena, the real estate agent. Nobody knew me as Lena, the mom. Nobody knew me as all of these constructs I had put on myself. And so it was the first time that I was allowed to be free. And I was telling you that if you start a platform, an online platform, without the fear of judgment of what other people are thinking, and you post for the one person that you're thinking of and not the world. Like I said, I was thinking of that mom who's at home with her 3 kids and homeschooling during the pandemic and going crazy, like paint your wall, paint your dining room. That's what I was doing. Tackle a furniture project because it's gonna give you such a sense of control. I still never thought that could be a thing for me. So what did I do when the pandemic lifted and the stay-at-home orders were up? I went back to selling real estate. And guess what? Those first few times out, I was like, why am I doing this? This is not what I want to be doing. It's not really what my family needs of me now. I have a lot more fun making videos. Is there a way I could turn that into a business? But again, I didn't even think it was an option. I remember literally talking to my friend and going, people seem to really like my DIY stuff. Like, could I make that into a thing? But I didn't understand how to monetize it. I didn't understand how to build a business model around it. But because I had success and I was starting to grow and people were watching my videos, by my 33rd birthday, I had crossed 100,000 followers on TikTok and I think Instagram, sharing these DIY projects. I still really wasn't making any money because I didn't know how to monetize it. And it was really just a hobby and a passion for me. And I want you to understand this. How you choose to approach this platform will determine its utility and the role that plays in your life. And it is 1000% okay to approach this as a hobby. I think we don't give ourselves permission enough for that. So we think, oh, I want to start a blog, a podcast, a YouTube channel. I got to have it all set up right. I got to have all the perfect equipment. But it's okay to just start out having fun and grow. That's exactly what I did. Like I was having fun. This was my hobby. I went to a creator conference, which was called Haven, which I'm actually going to be a speaker at this year. I remember my whole world became unlocked in this moment because I was around people who were doing things that I didn't even know were possible. These women who were making a lot of money, had built lives and careers for themselves around online platforms, blogs, social media. And I went to a YouTube class because there was something in me that felt like, you know what, maybe I would like to do YouTube. YouTube seems like something that's a little less of a rat race. That's another thing when you talk about your pledge, your personal pledge, you have to decide what lifestyle you want. So while most people think of social media when they hear the word platform, I'm actually not talking about social media. If you want to build a social media channel, that's absolutely fine. But when I'm saying a platform, I'm thinking of something that's kind of long-term, that you have ownership over. And now, while you don't own YouTube, you do have more ownership, I think, over it than something like a TikTok or an Instagram that's really dedicated on algorithm and just hoping you show up, where YouTube people are a little more intentional of watching your stuff, and you can really build a deep community. So I sat in this YouTube class and everything just kind of clicked for me. Christina Mascari, who is behind the brand Pretty Distressed, she does a lot of furniture tutorials. You can check out her YouTube channel, was giving the class. And I sat in there and she told her story about being a mom of 3 and how she had left her corporate job and she just started flipping furniture, and she loved flipping furniture. And so she decided that she was gonna film it and make a YouTube channel. And then after having a little success, she thought, you know what, I'm gonna go all in on this. I'm gonna make this a career. And she showed us the back end of her YouTube channel and the money she was making off of AdSense. And my mind was blown. I had no idea. I had no idea you could start a YouTube channel and YouTube would pay you to run ads on your content. So she was just filming what she was already doing in life, which was being a mom and flipping furniture. And now she was building a career for herself. And I had this aha moment, this epiphany, that I could build an online platform with YouTube, filming my renovations that I was already doing, filming my own furniture flips, and get paid for it while being a mom, and do this during the hours that my kids were in school. I left that session thinking, that's it. YouTube is gonna become my sun. Everything is gonna move around the sun, social media, all these things. But YouTube is where I'm really gonna go all in. So I left there, and that's what I did. I said, okay, I'm going all in on YouTube. Yes, TikTok is popular right now. Instagram is popular. You get a lot of instantaneous and immediate gratification and feedback, but here's how you make money on Instagram and TikTok. You do brand deals. And I'll tell you a dirty little secret. I don't do a lot of brand deals, and I don't like them, and they really stress me out. Really stress me out. I'm fortunate, I'm privileged to be in a situation where I don't have to go out and provide for our family with this right now. My main job is being a stay-at-home mom of 3 and caring for our family, and we've worked really hard to get my husband to a point where he is able to provide for us. And I sometimes have to remind myself that this is a privilege to be able to lay the foundation for this platform, for this YouTube, to not have to take brand deals right away with things I don't believe in, and give myself that time to build this. I came home and I thought, that's it, I'm gonna go all in, which seemed kind of crazy because at the time, everybody was flocking to TikTok and they're becoming famous off of TikTok. And now what's gonna happen with TikTok? It just got banned in the US. We'll see if it really stays banned or if they buy it. But I kind of went the opposite direction. And that didn't happen right away. I started it and then I got distracted by what seemed, popular. Again, what gave me more likes and more things, but it wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't doing what I really wanted to do, which was inspire others and give a bigger, longer message. There's only so much you can communicate in a short clip. So by going all in on YouTube and really taking the time and the patience and saying, my main goal is to become monetized on YouTube, which to become monetized on YouTube, traditionally long form content, you have to get 4,000 watch hours. That's actually a lot, 4,000 watch hours. So break that down into minutes. I can't do the math right now. It's a lot of minutes of people watching your stuff, but it gave me the goal to work towards. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put out my videos. I'm gonna be consistent. To be honest with you, my videos were really bad when I started. I go back and I watch them and I cringe a bit. And I tried to imitate other people and I shouldn't have been doing that. So I sat in that Haven conference. I said, I'm going all in on YouTube. This is the right platform for me. This is my new career path. And 1 year later, I sat back in that Haven conference. I got up, I stood up. I said, I was here a year ago. I decided to go all in on YouTube. I just got monetized a few months ago. I'm making money from YouTube now. So it changed my life in the way of I've created a whole new career for myself that I didn't know what's possible. Now, am I making boatloads of money with YouTube yet? No, I'll be very honest with you. It fluctuates. Still, money is in brand deals, and I've chosen that's not what I want right now, but I do get paid off my AdSense. So YouTube pays me to make content. They run ads on it. I don't have to negotiate the ads. It's incredible. And now with a podcast, the same thing. You can record a podcast if you don't want to be on camera and get paid to run ads on your podcast that you don't have to negotiate. They'll place them automatically. Like, it is an amazing time that we live in. YouTube has also changed my life, not only from giving me a new income stream, it's given me a whole new sense of confidence and purpose. Because while being a mom is amazing and it's really, truly the thing I am called to do, we are not one-dimensional creatures. Just because you're called to be a mom doesn't mean that you don't have other gifts that you should explore and passions, because I find that I'm a better mom, I'm a better wife when I'm the best version of Lena. And Lena loves to do all these other things. And Lena as a child, it's weird, I'm talking in third person, but it just makes sense. There were two things I really loved to do as a child. I loved to entertain, and I loved to read floor plan books. I kid you not. If I was not dancing and singing, I was sprawled out on our living room floor reading the floor plan books that my mom had. I can look back now at all of the threads of my life and seeing how it makes perfect sense that I have a YouTube channel around DIY and home renovations, but it's something I couldn't see for myself for the longest time. But it's given me an avenue, it's given me a way to combine all of the things I really feel like I'm called to do. Is one, I love to entertain people. This is a form of entertainment, and a long time I hid from that. We won't get into that today because it's a whole nother conversation about how trauma that I experienced in my teenage years with my parents' divorce and my mom leaving and all these things wanted to make me hide, and how this has helped me come out again and realize, like, no, I love to entertain. I don't need to be hiding away. And it's given me a sense of purpose in terms of, I do these renovations and I do these things not to show off a home and not to show off skills. Like, honestly, I'm not that great at a lot of renovation stuff, but I still do it because I am here to inspire you. I'm here to inspire you to do that thing you don't feel ready for, or to pick up that paintbrush, or to record that song, or to write that blog post. And the best way that I can do that is through video, which I love to do. Again, I love making videos. And so YouTube has not only changed my life in terms of giving me a new career path, it's giving me confidence, it's given me purpose, it's given me a way to reach and inspire. I think sometimes we forget how incredible it is that you can record a video, record a podcast, write a blog post, publish an ebook, upload it on the internet, push publish, and reach thousands and thousands, an infinite amount of people around the world. It is an amazing time to be alive. And I think I mentioned earlier in here that my mom did the same thing I'm doing. She renovated houses that my parents would either flip or we'd end up moving into. She was taking us to design centers on the weekend. My gift of vision comes from her. My gift of being able to look at a decrepit house and going, wow, this is what it could become, is from my mom. But unfortunately, my mom didn't have the internet. My mom didn't have YouTube. My mom didn't have Pinterest. My mom didn't have Instagram. She didn't have a way to share this gift with the world. And so she got lost, and a lot of things happened. And sometimes I think, what would have been different if she would have had the abilities I have? And my mom died 11 years ago. And I remember on her deathbed and holding her hand and her taking her last breaths and thinking to myself, I'm not gonna let this happen to me, and I'm gonna find a way to honor you. And now, if you look on paper, our stories are very similar, right? Mom of 3, married to a man with a very demanding career, 3 kids, primary caretaker, love of renovation, love of DIY, charismatic. I guess I can say that about myself. It's still weird to, say you have talents and you're charismatic or whatever, but own what you are. Facing great adversity. My mom faced the adversity of her mom, some trauma. She unfortunately decided to cope with alcohol. Maybe I cope with making videos, because when I've been facing the adversity of raising children who are neurodivergent and having developmental delays and leaving career and things that feel hard, my outlet was making videos and putting it on the internet and making a YouTube channel. And sometimes I think, what if my mom would have had a different outlet? How would have her life been different? What if she would have been able to make a career for herself and felt proud and purpose? So Not only has YouTube changed my life in those other ways, it's given me the opportunity to rewrite a story that could have gone in a same direction, but it didn't. I want to remind you that you have a gift, you have a talent, you have a calling, that thing that's on your heart, that thing that you're wanting to do. You're wanting to inspire other moms, you're wanting to help women be healthier, you're wanting to, whatever it is, share your gifts and talents. You owe it to yourself to do that. I want you to start thinking outside the box. So here's what I've done. I have put together what is called a platform pathfinder, because this is what I wish I had a few years ago. I wish there would have been a quiz that somebody could have given me that I would have answered, what are my talents, my passions, how much time do I want to spend on this, what do I like doing? That would have spit out, Lena, you should be a YouTuber and you should promote that on social media or Pinterest. So that's what I put together for you. And you can find a link to that quiz in the download below. It's just a simple quiz and it will spit out, again, it's not, it's kind of, think of it like an astrology. It's close, but tweak it to meet your own needs. But it might give you the right idea of what path you should pursue. So again, I've linked that below in the video description. If you're listening to the audio version, it is also in the podcast. If you found this helpful, I would really love it if you would share it with at least one friend. Comment below what was your biggest aha moment from it, and I will catch you next time. And in the meantime, just do the flipping thing. See you later.